another day in the snake room here, and we're going to be feeding a couple rattlesnakes and some non-venomous snakes we're going to show you today. The first snake we're taking out of here is my western diamondback rattlesnake, the normal color. I always put on my 2 gloves when I deal with him. This is not this particular snake, but a western diamondback. Early in my career, before I had the gloves, was the only snake that I ever got bit, venomous snake that I ever got bit by. So what we're going to do today is, I didn't drill holes in the top of this one, that's my bad. So we're going to have to hook this up without trying to disturb him too much. And only because I have my gloves on am I going to reach here and pick up the hide off of him. Otherwise I would never reach my hand around without a glove to do that. Now again, if it works with a rattlesnake, if he stays in his coils, if you hook 2 of his coils, let me work my stick in there, I grab 2 of his coils, they'll normally stay right on the stick like this, you see? Now if I would only hook one section of his body, normally he would just climb right down, but because I have 2 sections, he'll stay right on here. And we're going to move him over here, put him into his holding container, and we will attempt to clean his cage here. Again, I like to use newspaper. I'm going to let you guys, in case some of you guys never saw me clean one of the enclosures, I'm going to let you guys see this. I like to use newspaper because it shows where he went to the bathroom. Also the fact that if I were to put wood chips or shavings or anything in here, where he goes to the bathroom or urate, sometimes you don't notice it. So it can stay unclean for quite a while. But with newspaper it shows up right away. This way it looks like the cages are actually dirty because of the fact that you can see it easily, but they stay much more cleaner because nothing stays hidden. And then I use rubbing alcohol, and I use it straight. I just put a spray bottle spray nozzle right on top of the bottle itself, and I spray it down. I like using rubbing alcohol because it's a great cleaner. I use it in the water bowl here. So it kind of like disinfects, also cleans it out really well. And then I use it on the bottom of the tank, and I use it also as glass cleaner for the sides. It works extremely well for that. When I do it for the glass, what I normally do is, if the glass is really dirty, like today it's not dirty, so I'm not going to clean it, but if it's really dirty, I'll spray it with the alcohol, and then I take my scraper knife and I'll scrape with the alcohol on there, and it cleans it really, really well. Let me grab some newspaper here. Fortunately, I have a friend who delivers the newspaper at night. He transports it from one facility to another, and he's able to get me as much newspaper as I want. Again, I've heard yesterday somebody mentioned to me, because I work in a major pet store, I've heard one person mention to me that they've heard that newspaper ink is unsafe, and that's not true. The newspaper ink is actually made from a vegetable-based ink, so that it's completely safe for the snakes and stuff. It's not going to hurt them. You don't want to use that glossy paper, which sometimes is affiliated with like ads and stuff like that, but the regular newspaper is totally fine. Then I'll take water and I wet down the newspaper, and again, I do this for a couple reasons. I do it because it helps to keep the newspaper down when I first put it in here, and secondly, it helps to also hydrate the snakes because they got to lay on this wet newspaper. It'll raise the humidity up inside this tank only temporarily, because as all of you know, the tanks with the screen top lids, the humidity goes out of them pretty quickly. So I don't worry about how much humidity or if there's any spilled water in a tank. because it will automatically adjust itself. Now, if I use the tubs, I do worry about putting too much humidity into the tubs. That's why a lot of times my water containers might be dry when I open up a tub, because I only give them a small amount of water, because tubs hold humidity very, very well if the holes are drilled in the sides of the tub or you only have a few small holes on top. So I don't want them to be too high in humidity, because then you could end up with scale rot. So now I'm going to go back here. I'm going to be off camera for a second, and the holding tub is actually right now behind the camera, and we're going to go back here and we're going to get that Western Diamondback again. Now, he is coiled up still in the same position, so if he allows me to grab 2 coils, which he did, as you can see here, alright, see how I got him hooked? He's going to stay right on this hook with no problem, and I just move him and set him down. Again, I always try to keep things as easy as possible when dealing with snakes. I try not to make a major production out of things. And the other thing I try to do is I try to make sure that the snakes don't go and hit the floor. Once they hit the floor, then they're out of control. It's a lot more chance you're going to get bit. So I like to make sure that I keep them handled. Now, this guy, I'm going to give him 1 mouse. He's a pig. He will eat a couple mice, but today he's only getting 1. He's kind of fat. Okay, now I don't stuff it in his face. I just rub it on his body here a little bit. Move it in front of him. Sometimes he'll bite it and take it. Other times he won't. As you can see here, he's smelling it. Alright, kind of disturbed him there when I grabbed him. And there he goes. He's just taking it really nice. He's actually even let me hold it for him while he's starting to eat up on it. Again, not all the snakes have to strike at their food or try to re-kill it. Sometimes if he does strike at it when I offer it to him, once he bites it, then I will just lay it down in his enclosure, and then he'll go eat it later. A lot of snakes don't like you to watch them while they eat. Alright, so this guy is all done and fed, and we'll get you to the next snake here. And the next snake we have for you today is my timber rattlesnake, and he's very active right now. And I have raised him from a baby. And like I said many times, I like the top opening tanks as opposed to the front opening tanks. Because right now with the top opening tank, he has to come up and over to get me. If it was a front opening tank here, he could strike right out and try to get me. But he's usually not too aggressive. So what I'm going to do is I got to move him from out of here. So I'm not going to be able to do like I did before with the other guy, because that snake was coiled up. This is not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook the front part of his body, and I'm going to reach in with my Hex Armor gloves here. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to put the stick down at this point, and then I'm going to move up my other hand to the front, and as you can see, he's not fighting or he's not upset, doesn't feel threatened, so I'm going to just simply move him over, set him very gently into the holding container, and you could tell that I didn't aggravate him too much, and he didn't feel stressed out because he didn't rattle while I went through all that. Now I'm going to not make you watch me clean this one, guys, and then we'll take you on to the next snake. Okay, now I have my Coachwhip snake. Coachwhip snakes are the fastest snakes in the United States. One of the myths about them is they will chase you down, and they will wrap you up, and they will beat you to death with their tail, which is not true. They are usually pretty aggressive snakes. I don't know if you can see this guy here. He's got his mouth open. He's ready to strike, so we kind of do one of these methods here. Oh, he's getting to watch this hand. Whoop! No, get him to watch this hand. Ah, nice strike. He tried. Okay, we'll move very slowly. Now we're actually, let him back up. We're touching him. He's going to back up right into my hand here. There we go. We got him. And we're going to move him over into his temporary holding enclosure until I can feed him. And this snake here is my white-sided black rat snake. I've had him for quite a long time. Very beautiful snake, good personality. Notice the high white on the sides, more of the silverish markings on the back, but a great snake. And I use him in my shows. I put him up next to the black rat snake. Okay, and we're going to show you a Snake Man screw up here. This is a new black rat snake that came in, and I put him in this enclosure, and right now he's striking at the lid. He's very upset with me. But I have to open up these holes. I had the holes on top of here all taped up, so there wasn't much ventilation coming through the top, and unfortunately because of that, the water dish and stuff that he spilled, it allowed the moisture to accumulate way too much. As you can see here, it's all over the lid. It's dripping. This is not what we want. Okay, he's a black rat snake. He's very aggravated at this point. So we're going to slowly pick him up. I think he's actually... No, he's not going into a shed, but he's very aggravated with me. So we're going to pick him up, move him over here to his temporary enclosure. Put him in there before we feed him. But again, to control humidity is very simple. What he has done was, he went in here, he spilled his water dish, which caused the humidity level to go way up. The holes I have, that's why I like rubber tubs, because you can drill the holes, and if you have too many holes, it's very easy just to cover them over with some tape, and that will take care of closing the holes back up. So it's not like if you drill a hole and you got too many of them and stuff that you can't fix that problem. And what I did was I just reopened up all these holes by popping a drill bit through them. Now I'm going to take the little pieces of tape that were left and throw them out, get them off of there. But because it is packing tape, I mean, a lot of times you don't want snakes and tape together, because a snake stuck with duct tape on him is very hard to get off. But packing tape, though, is relatively easy to, if a snake gets it on him, to pull it off. Like I said, this was my mess up. This should never be this wet unless I'm trying to get a shed off the snake, or he's going into a shed and he does it himself. This was just the fact that the snake I had in here before, he didn't need all that ventilation, so I didn't have the holes opened up. And of course, as you can see, what I ended up with was a wet mess. Again, totally my fault. So we're going to fix that for him. We're going to give him, and that's why I only give the snakes that are in the tubs like this, I only give them probably about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of water in their water bowl, so that they don't spill it and raise the humidity way up inside their enclosure. Okay, and the last snake we got for you today is a black rat snake as well. Dump this water bowl out. And this black rat snake actually is from New York. Again, they usually settle down quite well in captivity. You can see not aggressive at all. Very cool snake. Usually you'll find the New York black rat snakes are more solid black. Has a little bit of a white pattern in him, but they're more almost like a jet black. They're really cool snakes though. Actually, I'm going to take a minute here while I clean out this enclosure to talk about some of my YouTube video comments. I really want to thank you guys. I have very few Jerry the Snake Man haters. When I first started YouTube, I had a lot of comments of people always being negative. It seems like my fan base now is a very positive fan base, very few negatives. I want to thank you guys for that. And I also want to say, you know, if you guys like what I'm doing here, please hit the like button, because that lets me know, you know, that what I'm showing you, you guys are liking. If you guys want to see something different, feel free to contact me. There's many ways to contact me. You can do it through my email address, which is gaboonsnake@yahoo.com. You can actually call me. It's 845-283-2795. Or you can go on my website and contact me through that, which is www.jerrythesnakeman.com. Alright, so I want to thank you guys for watching the videos. And if you like what you see and you want to see it every time I post a video, then subscribe to my channel. Again, I want to thank you guys for being a very positive base group who follows me. Have a good day, guys.